Hello, welcome to chapter 17. I can't do it other than be really excited about it. Hello, and welcome to chapter 17 of Bookish Babes After Dark.
I know, because
No.
because we're excited.
We think we're fantastic, and we're proud to have got to chapter 17.
I'm very proud of us.
I am.
Pat on the
I'm
back.
surprised we've lasted this long.
So
I know, and we're still friends.
That's it.
yeah, that's true.
We've come this far. None of us
It's
have followed
miraculous.
it yet.
Exactly. On today's episode, called a vibe.
Give it a minute. Hold on. Give it a minute. There we go. We're up.
Oh, she's here.
I'm up.
By Eva Moore.
Vibes all around.
So today's episode, we've got me and Ellie have read the book, and Jordan hasn't, because we're going to be mixing up our episodes slightly from
Mixed
now
up
on.
flavour, doing a bit of a
Different tastes, different interests,
Vibes.
different vibes.
We've got a different vibe.
I just fit into all of them.
All my eggs in all my baskets.
Yes.
Yes.
All my fingers in all the pies.
Oh.
So, this book, the blurb. What would you do for a second chance at your best one-night stand? Penny Maxwell's dreams are coming true. Her sex toy business is launching on technology's biggest stage, and soon everyone will have a blended orgasm within reach until the pandemic arrives and puts a kink in her plans.
Network.
The only good thing to come out of her stay in Las Vegas is a truly stellar one-night stand who follows her home. But can she juggle a startup launch, a global shutdown, and a new relationship? She sure as hell is going to try, because what that man can do with his gamer's thumbs. When video game reviewer Dash Hall gets assigned an article on a revolutionary sex toy, he never dreamed it would change his life. His ADHD has him constantly chasing fresh dopamine, but one night with Penny has him hooked. When she falls ill, driving 500 miles to care for her doesn't feel impulsive. It feels vital. Becoming her quarantine roommate as a result certainly wasn't in the plans, but it'll take any time he can get with her before she comes to her senses and realises she can do better. Between the panini pairings, sourdough adventures, and accidental naked video chats, love blooms, but can it survive the stress of the quarantines? Yeah, I said that right.
Yeah.
Find out in this opposites attract, lovers to friends to lovers, forced proximity, work from home romance.
What a slay!
Oh my god, this book!
What a sly!
What a fucking sly, man!
So, obviously, me and Ellie are going to tell you all about it.
Oh yes, give me
because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I rated this 4 stars. What did you rate it?
Think it was a 4.5.
Really?
Yeah.
To be fair, when I think about it, I probably could push to a 4.5. To be fair,
it was like a 4.5 or a 5 because I ate through this book. As soon as I started reading it, I couldn't stop. It was just, I couldn't stop because there wasn't a point where I was like, oh, it was like, oh my god, something's happening, and especially because COVID is still quite fresh. It only happened a couple of years ago. We all lived through it, so we all knew what happened at that time.
Yeah.
I was finishing my degree when we went into lockdown. So I was one of the graduating years of 2020. So
I was just living it and trying my best.
And I just fell in love with Dash as soon as he came onto the page, because he's awkward and he's nerdy and he's dorky and he's just I just completely connected with him straight away.
I was gonna say that we could go through basically what happens, but then I realised that blurb is one of those blurbs where it pretty much tells you what happens.
Yeah.
But basically, she has created this vibrator that's got, I'm pretty sure it's got like a sucking part on it. It's got like basically it's like a full-on engineering masterpiece.
So, like, you know the ones that sort of look like this?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's got the inside
And
the
like,
outside.
and like this is the sucky bit, and then this bit goes inside, and this
is
bit
the bubble bit.
moves.
Oh,
It moves.
Yeah.
just a little tickle. Just a little.
It does.
Tickle, tickle.
Engineering masterpiece.
Oh yeah.
You fucking go, girl.
Yeah, and it's all about a blended orgasm.
Oh,
And she teaches Dash what a blended orgasm is, which is obviously stimulation on both.
nice.
Yes.
For those that aren't aware. And basically she goes to this big convention in Las Vegas where they have been invited as like to win like an award potentially for the creation.
And it's to win like funding, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been sent by his editor to go and do this piece on like the stuff at this tech conference thing.
Yeah,
And,
because he writes reviews for a tech company,
on
but he
games.
mainly reviews games.
Right,
But he's
so
gone.
a complete switcheroo.
But he's not told what he's reviewing. It was supposed to be a joke.
Oh. And
But he like
in,
sees.
and they're like, here. Do you want to review
No, because
He thinks it's like a game controller or something.
he does. He thinks it's a joystick, and it's so sweet.
Said.
And it's so innocent. And he's sat there and he's got it in his hand and he's just like, so what is it? And he's like trying to figure out how to use it.
Like putting it on and it starts going.
And Penny's just stood there watching him,
Like,
pissing herself at him. Like, and she was like, right, okay, I'm gonna like go and embarrass him.
yeah.
And
I'm just gonna.
Ash, she walks over to him and he says, oh no, I'll wait for the other one, like the other girl, like thinking that the other woman is the one that's thinking it. And she went, I'm the CEO and owner and designer of the thing that you're holding, so I'm most qualified to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, excuse me, ma'am.
And there's a line in that made me laugh, because I'm not sure if it was at that point or if it's after they've had their one night stand and so basically they go and sleep together,
Right.
and then the conference thing basically pull her from it and say, no, we're not having a sex toy in it.
Yet they keep virtual fucking.
Yeah, like the VR one.
Yeah, they keep VR.
Yeah. And then, so I just thought this was funny, and turns out sex toys are non-essential pandemic items, though I seriously beg to differ. They are an essential item. It just made me laugh. Yeah.
Whereas, like, one of my first quotes, it's pretty much within, like, I think it's the first, it's the first chapter that this quote is in. And it's from Penny's point of view. And she's getting ready to go to this convention.
Right.
She puts on this like full persona to go. Yeah. So she's normally short blonde curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
But for this, when she does her like presentations at these conventions, long red hair, tight little mini dress, like fully playing into it.
Mm-hmm.
Red lipstick as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the one thing that I quote is someone should really design a better strapless bra that won't try to run for my knees at the slightest encouragement. And I was like, yeah,
hallelujah,
because strapless bras are a pain in the arse.
Yeah,
and if she's wearing that all day,
I want something that's going to keep it there. I don't want to trip over it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they never work properly for us big boob gals.
No. There's no. You put it on and it starts to just go.
It's gone.
Yeah. Like, oh no, didn't need a bra anyway.
Oh no, here's the titty slip.
Soz.
You want to see me?
My bad. My nip's on the floor. Watch, don't trip over it. Sorry.
See, God. The frustrating thing about this book, for some reason, on Kindle, it's locations rather than pages, so
I hate
it's
that.
difficult for me to
Yeah.
figure out where things are. But the next quote I've got,
Go on, give it to me.
this boy is like the cutest guy. Like, he's the most thoughtful guy that I
Is he
can.
very like golden retriever?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to wrap him in bubble wrap.
Like, he puts her first all the time, and so like they're having. I'm not sure whereabouts this is.
All right.
Which chapter is it in?
Let me
It
see.
should tell you the chapters in your highlights.
No, it doesn't. It just tells me the location.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
so
in the
mine's
book.
like
Useful.
mine's split up into the chapters, and then it's just got the location on it as well.
Yeah, because like, you know when I go on the thing,
Oh yeah.
Oh
it doesn't tell me where they are, which is really annoying. But basically, I think they have had sex previously
Mm-hmm.
on the one night stand, and this is like when they're like back seeing each
They
other.
join back together.
Yeah, and he asks her to get her, because the company is called Mio, as in like
Like Mayo.
Mio. Yeah. So get me your Mio, like out of the drawer.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
gonna show me Penny. I want to know how you like it, so when I use it on you in person, I can make it good for you. I want the image of you playing with yourself burned in my brain, so when I fist my cock alone at night, it's your face in the throes of an orgasm that I see. Let me see. I remember where it is.
They're on a video call.
Video call. So this is the great thing about, because it's obviously COVID. So basically, what happens is they're at this conference, and she flies, obviously after she's been kicked out of this conference thing. He is a journalist, and he speaks to his editor and goes, can I write a piece on this? And the editor goes, no. So
No,
he's
it was
like,
a joke.
okay, yeah, I will write the piece about the fact that she's a female owned business that's a sex toy, and she's been kicked out of it, yet the guy owned sex VR thing is still allowed in. So he writes an anonymous piece.
I see.
And then when she gets off the plane, she's then like asked to go on like an interview about it, and basically she sells loads of pre-orders. But then on the plane back, COVID lockdown happens.
Because like
it's fun.
It's one of those. It's where like both of them were like, oh, like the airport's really quiet. Why is it really quiet? This isn't normal.
Yeah.
But it was like, I remember in COVID, it was just before the announcement. It was the day of the announcement. I was getting ready I used to work in a bar. So I was ready to go to work. This was at like 10:30 at night. I'm sat waiting and ready. But we had to wait to see if we were getting the announcement. And I remember sitting in my flat watching the TV, and fucking Boris Johnson is there on the screen being like, we're closing all pubs, nightclubs, and
you
like
stay at home.
I just sat there and I was like,
what
do you mean you're closing all pubs, clubs and everything? And I was like, well, what are we gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen? And like, it was just the fact that like everywhere was a ghost town. No matter where you went, everywhere was quiet.
It was so weird.
And you'd have like certain bubbles, wouldn't you, and stuff like that. Or you could only sit with these people, and like
the thing is that will never happen again in our lifetime.
No.
Never. Like, it probably won't happen again for like at least 100 years. So we'll all be dead by the next time it happens. And it's so weird that like we go through when you watch a film and there's a zombie apocalypse and like the streets are literally empty, we lived that moment in time. And it's so weird to think.
I still remember like queuing up at Tesco, and you had to be like 6 feet apart and stuff like that.
Yeah, bringing your shopping home in a bag and disinfecting the outside of it all.
Disinfecting the bag.
Like,
and
what?
you do it with your post, wouldn't you? Your post would come through and you'd be with a fucking biohazard suit on.
Yeah. It's just the most random thing. But then, because I've never read a book that's got COVID within it, so this
No,
is
I
the
haven't.
first
No,
and I think it was done really well. And
it was.
so they obviously then, when she got, the other thing I missed out of that is that on the night they slept together, because he has ADHD, he wakes up, and then when the inspiration takes, he has to go and write. So he
Yeah.
woke up at like 3 a.m. or whatever, and was like, I need to go and write these articles now. I'll leave Penny sleeping, and then I'll meet her downstairs later. So he's gone and left to go and do his articles. She wakes up and he's not there, and she's like, oh, knob. He's like, what the fuck left me?
Because it's because, like you said, because of his ADHD, he's like constantly chasing that dopamine, and when he gets it, it's like, right, I'm switched on at that point. I'm hyper focused. And it's the fact that he would, like, you find out a couple of pages later when he rings her, or like she rings him, and he was like, I didn't want to wake you up. I felt bad because I was awake and I just needed to get, I had, the thought was there and the dopamine was there and I needed to chase it.
I got so annoyed. I was like, why didn't you write a note?
I know.
He wasn't thinking, bless him.
When the thing's there, it's like...
Yeah.
He's just an awkward little boy.
I remember reading it. Why didn't you write a note?
Yeah.
Why? But anyway, so that happens, and then she's like, he's a dick. This whole thing with the like news thing and like going on this program and being interviewed about her toy happens, and she gets loads of pre-orders and it's dead and whatever, and then she lands back at home and it's all quiet, and then she's got to go into quarantine for 2 weeks. But then he goes to the stand and goes to see her friend who works with her and explains, and so he gets Penny's number from her, I think, and so he ends up like ringing and messaging, and then like they figure it all out, and the fact that like Ellie said, like he was being nice, so they're all fine, and then they're just texting, and then they're just having these text conversations, and then they video call each other, and then that's when the whole video sexy time thing happens.
No.
And then we get complete and utter silence from Penny.
Why?
Just nothing.
But thing was going fine.
The reason is she's got COVID.
Yeah.
He's on her deathbed, in her bed. Like literally, she was, yeah. So he gets her address and he drives all the way to her because he's worried about her, and like literally gets through the door and looks after it. Like I'm pretty sure she's ill for like 2 weeks. Like she's just out of it.
Like
this is what we want to see.
Yes. Because he didn't hear anything from her, he's sat there and he's just stressing.
Yeah.
And he's panicking and he's overthinking about it.
Because
at this point,
a set time every day, don't they? They speak to each other.
They call each other at 6 p.m. every day, and they sit and they eat dinner together on a video call. And he was like, well, I've got my dinner. And he was just sat there waiting.
No, I will not have him sat there on his own with his din-dins.
Yeah. And so his roommate drops his food off because, again, Dash is still quarantining at this time. And his roommate's like, well, I'm going to go back home. Your other roommate's going home. We're dropping the lease. I'm sorry, dude, you're going to have to find somewhere else to live. So Dash is now sat there like, fuck, I need to find someone else to live. Penny's not answering the phone. I'm hungry.
She's going cold.
Oh, yeah, I've just remembered because his roommate tells him that he's got to move out and he's stressing about that. And then he goes, oh, it's okay because Penny will calm me down, having the conversation with you on the phone, and then she doesn't answer. So then he packs up all of his items into 10 cardboard boxes and 2 suitcases and drives 5 hours away, is it?
He drives from San Francisco to LA.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think they like joke about it. They were like, how long does it take you to drive? And it's like, oh, it takes me 7 hours, I think Penny says. And Dash was like, oh no, it takes me 8 because I because I stop off at this certain restaurant on the way, and he stops off at this restaurant and picks up the food.
Good. He is a sweetheart.
He is such a cutie pie throughout the whole book, and I really connected with Dash, especially when they like get together as a couple, when they're living together as a couple, because he says, he was like, if I can't see it, it's not there. It doesn't exist. And like with mess, and if there's washing in the washing machine, like he left it, and like Penny's a clean freak, but Dash comes in like a tornado, and there's just everything everywhere. And it got to the point, and Dash was like, look, I've told you, you need to
tell me.
Don't give me body language. Don't give me here, there, and that. You need to tell me directly what's going to happen and what we need to do. And he was like, I literally cannot help it, because his parents were so against him. Like, they couldn't agree that he had ADHD, even though when he went to college, he went and got the diagnosis.
Yeah.
They were like, no, you've not got it.
So like you've
not got that,
because his parents wouldn't allow it.
So he never went on medication. He went to therapy, and he has his little ways to get through it. So he makes his lists and stuff like that. But on that front, I really related to Dash, because I've got, and so you two know, I've got dyslexia, dyspraxia, and dyscalculia. Which is weird, because, you know, we do a Bookish podcast, you girls dyslexic. But I didn't know I had it through primary, through secondary, through my first year at college.
Isn't it? Like, especially like with young kids, you sort of just, like, my littlest is the same. It's hard to differentiate between whether they're just being kids, or there is not something wrong with them, but their behaviour is different, you know. You pick it up straight away. And obviously coming into your adulthood and things like that, you yourself can pick it up. You know your own traits, and you know the things that set you off and how you like things and things like that. And I think that's why it's so easier in adulthood to be diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, autism, whatever it is. So, and to be fair, I've never heard of a book that has ADHD in it.
And I will say, the way that she goes about it, and the way that she writes it, and the traits that she puts in it are so true. It is unbelievable. The brain fog, the chasing the dopamine, the hyperfocus, the almost, he like loses track of time.
Yeah.
A lot. When he's hyper focused, he'll lose track of time.
Yeah.
I do the same. I'm undiagnosed, but I'm convinced. I am convinced now that I have got ADHD through like research and type of thing. Because when I'm focused on something, when I'm doing when I'm doing the edits for the podcast, I'll spend 6 to 8 hours, like editing straight back to back.
And you'll think to yourself, oh, it's only been about 10 minutes. And Jake comes in and is like, excuse me, it's been 200 years.
It's like I'll forget to eat. Yeah. I'll forget to drink. When I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. And I think that's why I connected so much with Dash. Because the fact that he tries so hard, and he just wants to make Penny happy.
And he thinks he's not good enough. Like, he thinks that she's gonna get sick of the fact that she's got to constantly remind him to do stuff, and she thinks that, and he thinks that she's just gonna like leave. So he's waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then this is one thing that I actually had on my list to ask you about, was the ADHD representation, but also because I, on the flip side, can really relate to the control freak tendencies that Penny's written with, because obviously she's got this business, and like obviously we've skimmed over like part of the plot, but obviously at this point, like they're living together. They've kind of agreed that they're just going to live together as friends to start off with, because she's got a lot of things happening with the business that now that COVID's happened, she's like, how am I going to get these pre-orders out, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he kind of he notices that she does everything like with the business, like her employees are constantly asking her questions, like how do I do this, how do I do that, like how do we resolve this, or whatever it may be. And he's like, you've got to step back and let them make some decisions, otherwise you're just not
could
going to be able
never.
to. And then eventually she realizes that, so because she's such a control freak in some ways, I think she recognizes that she's really bad at communicating as well and just letting go.
Yeah.
So the thing that Dash asked her was, communicate with me, tell me, use words. But when things got hard, she used physical relationships, i.e. sex,
Yeah.
to mask it and make
As
it
a distraction.
Yeah. And then like they kind of got to this point where like they just ended up not using the words.
Yeah.
No.
But she then came like like this big full circle moment where she was like, I need to let go. And her employees kind of said to her, because obviously they're her friends as well, they
Yep.
said, you do not let us make any decisions. Because I think it was at one point, so basically they go through the whole living together situation, and Dash has a quandary because obviously he is a freelance writer for this website. But they say, because of the quarantine, we want to do like a regular piece on like quarantines. And so we want you to be like a full-time member of staff, but it's on like, so that's where the whole, in the blurb it says like panini pairing, sourdough adventures, and so basically it's like which plant will survive better in lockdown, which panini flavor is better, can you make sourdough starter, and blah blah blah. And so he's really struggling because he doesn't get that dopamine hit, because obviously playing video games gives him a dopamine hit, which is why he enjoys it, and he has coded his own game before. Like, that doesn't give him that hit, so he's thinking in his head like, I'm not enjoying this, I'm really struggling. So then everything kind of starts to fall apart.
Oh
yeah.
And then
well, it's one of those as well, like Penny's bottling up everything. It's like she'll notice that there's a pile of dishes in the sink, or her kitchen's messy, or there's piles of clothes on the floor, or like he's left the towels in the washing machine.
Her way of coping with the stress she's under is to clean freak.
Yeah,
but she can't because
Dash is a tornado.
It's just an absolute fucking whirlwind of shit.
Yeah. So then eventually what happens is she goes to get this funding from a different like company, and they end up not being able to get it. And basically they've Dash does some research and notices that the companies that they're giving it to are these really big companies that are safe, i.e. not startups, because obviously COVID was a very tough time. And so he is writing this piece, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm interested. This is hooking me. I need to carry on writing this. He's finally got that dopamine hit, so it's like, I need to write this. So he asks her a question and says, can I quote you on this? And she says like quite a controversial statement about it. And he writes it into an article and releases it the next day. And there's
quotes her
on it. Yeah, quotes her. There's loads of comments on it that are like, this woman's never going to get funding, blah, 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 blah. And it's looking like she might have to close the business down. She kicks him out.
Yeah.
On the street.
She basically says, she was like, look, I'm done. I am done with you. I'm going to go for a walk, and by the time that I'm back, you need to be gone.
Yeah. I want to see if I've got a quote about it.
And like I was reading it and I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
No more. You don't need to do
because
that
happens, like, because Dash had like, he'd gone, I think they'd like had a little bit of a bust up in the kitchen.
Like, did he realise what he was doing?
No, because he thought he was like helping.
Yeah, he thought he was helping her
about it.
Whoopsie.
Not realising that there's going to be a bit of kind of
backlash.
Yeah.
Like, I've accidentally just pressed send.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he said. It comes to the point where he literally says he was like, I finished it. I didn't even reread it.
He just
pressed
went.
submit.
Yeah.
Because he had a deadline that he was working towards.
And
And that's what happened.
Yeah. But this quote, so this is going backwards a bit because this is going back to his ADHD stuff, but this is a quote that I highlighted that I loved. And he said, I got stuck in a mental Mario Kart. It's like getting on the highway in a bumper car. Each new ricochet sends me further off track and I end up spinning against the guardrails going 60 miles an hour. It can be hard to pull out of it.
Yeah.
Felt that.
I also highlighted that bit because I was like, I completely agree with you.
That me? It's so hard to book on me.
Yeah, and then this one I relate to so hard. So Dash was talking to Penny about her perfectionism kind of thing. And he said, I'm still here. All of those decisions that went wrong, they're in the past. I'm still here and you're still here. I still think you're an amazing, kick-ass, smart and sexy woman. You still have the opportunity to try again tomorrow. Failure doesn't mean it's the end. If you need to fall apart again, go ahead. I'll be here to hold you while you pick up the pieces. And it's like, she's constantly thinking, like, if she fails, like, if anything goes wrong, she's failed. That's it. And that is
literally, that I will shoot myself in the foot first before I've even started.
Yeah,
and
it's like the fear of failure stops you from even starting sometimes.
So if I kick myself up before I've even started, I can't be upset if I fail afterwards.
Yeah, and he said, I love you and you don't have to be perfect to earn that. Like, that just hit me so hard. So hard. Like, it was just... And then, so obviously she kicks him out.
Yeah, he's
gone.
At this point, I was really mad at Penny.
Yeah.
I fucking mad.
I just think it was like a real over... Like, she didn't even talk to him about it. She just literally said, I can't believe you've done this. You've my business, get out.
Because, like, he's like, they had... She's, like, pissed at him because he didn't go to bed because he finished the article and then he was like, oh, I've got another game to review. So he sits and plays this game and he plays it all night.
Oh,
he
crap.
zones in on this game. And she was like, why didn't you come to bed?
Because they arranged, didn't they? So, like, they were going to go to bed. He was going to wake her up and they were just going to have a bit of nookie. And so, obviously, she was like,
where the fuck are you?
He never came to bed. So she wakes in the morning and he's still gaming.
Yeah, and so she gives him, like, full silent treatment. And then it was, like, the straw that broke the camel's back with the fact that, like, I think there was towels in the washing machine.
That smell.
Because he'd forgot to take them out.
Yeah.
And then he comes up and he's like, oh shit, sorry, I'll sort it out. And she's like, no, it's fine, leave it. I'll sort it, leave it. And then she starts work. And then she goes into this, like, Teams call with her team. And they tell her, they were like, have you seen this article? And at this point, Dash has gone for a shower. And he feels really bad as it is because he was like, fuck, I didn't go to bed. Fuck, sorry, type thing.
I didn't do the dishes, I didn't do the washing. Like I said, I was going to, like...
He was like, he's like, how can I fix myself to be better for her? And then he comes out and she's like, I am done. I am done with you. You need to go. Again, I'm going for a walk. By the time I get back, you need to be packed up and gone. And he's like trying to be like, look, he's like trying to get a word in, but she's like, I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. I want you gone.
I just thought that was so harsh. She didn't even give him a chance.
No. So she then, like, gets her stuff on and she's gone. And he literally sits on her bed. You know when you sort of, I call it, like, waiting mode?
Yeah.
And he just disassociates. And he doesn't know how long he does it for. But by the time he comes out of it, he was like,
this was bound to happen.
Well, I guess this is the end of it then.
Yeah, so because he's like, I can't change. This is who I am. I was waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, like he half expected it anyway.
And he's like, she's better off without me, like, you know, just that usual. And so he just packs everything up and
He
leaves.
packs all of his stuff up. He cleans everywhere before he leaves.
Oh,
He makes sure that like everything's like spotless. Packs his car up,
but like,
and he rings his mum.
where does he go?
His
He
mum.
goes to his mum's
This is one of the best parts of the story, in my opinion. The best bit.
because they don't have a great relationship.
Because his dad died like a year before, didn't he? And
Yeah.
so, as much as he didn't ever go home because it reminded him of his dad, but like him and his mum just hadn't had a good relationship because his mum never stuck up for him with his dad. So obviously he rings her and he's like, "Mum, I need to come home," and she's like, "Yeah, of course." And then she just lets him go and stay in his room for the night, like to thingy, and then comes down in the morning. And then he looks around and he notices that things in the house are different, and he was like, things weird, like things are just in a strange place. And then he's like, my mum's in her pajamas and she's always dressed and ready in the morning, like she's never thingy. And then it kind of kickstarts a conversation with his mum where she's then like, your dad was a lot of things, and basically since he's gone, I've now realised that actually I also have ADHD. And she brings out like shit tons of textbooks,
like piles and piles of books.
Yeah, with like tabs on where she's researched it and realizes that she also has ADHD and these tendencies that are slightly different to his. And she goes, I think I'd really like it if we had a conversation, because I think his dad was basically one of those where he just railroaded, had his own way, and suppressed everything about his mum as well. Like, and she just kind of went along with it, like almost a bit mentally abusive, really.
Yeah.
I think his mum masked a lot of the time.
It sounds like it.
And it was the relationship building that happened between him and his mum that was like probably one of the nicest parts about it. But it was the fact as well as whilst he was back with his mum, he found his love for game design and coding again, and he designs this game. Well, he gets first he's like gone back into freelancing.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I can't. I'm not enjoying it. Fuck the stability. I need to do something that I love.
Yeah.
He was sent this game by this girl about, it's like teenage girls and friendships type of thing. And he sat there and he was like, if I was a teenage boy and I had a game about how to talk to girls and how to deal with relationships, that'd be great. I'd love it. Hold on a minute. I'm going to make it. And because he's constantly thinking about Penny, and during their whole relationship, he has this spreadsheet on everything that Penny likes, where she likes to be kissed, what parts of her, like, does she like hand holding? She really likes it when I touch her just behind the ear. Here are little tendencies that she has, and it's like a full
she makes when I do these things to her.
Yeah,
like full on, like he analyzes everything.
in depth.
I have coded this woman,
and
literally
he does
into his game.
He codes her into the game, because he can't stop thinking about her. But this is his sort of way of getting over it.
And like he holds himself up in his room for like
it's in the garage, isn't it?
Yeah, and like he just literally absorbs himself into it and does basically what he does, and that is that shuts the world out, has no idea what's going on. His phone's run out of battery somewhere in the back of his chair or
in
whatever.
the back of the sofa, it's gone.
His mum has been out and spoken to his like gaming professor when he was at school,
high school.
Who he had a really good relationship with, and he ends up coming over and speaking to him and just like kind of saying like, basically it's like this whole cathartic moment with him speaking to his mum, and then this tutor that basically says, you never failed in anything, you were amazing at everything you've done, and you've done it remarkably well considering the circumstances that you lived in. And it's this whole moment where he's like, actually, no, like, I'm good. Like, I'm okay. I can handle this. I can do this. So he's feeling like really good about himself. And then
I've got a quote from that part.
go on.
And it says, I am worthy of love, just as I am. I deserve to be loved and supported by my person. My ADHD isn't an illness or a burden. It's simply how my brain functions in the world. It's my superpower and my kryptonite. I am worthy of love, just as I am.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like,
And then in Penny's universe, she's had these control freak revelations from her friends. And
they basically like interventioned her during a Teams call.
Right. So Penny, we're glad that you've joined today's call. We would like you to kindly fuck off.
Yeah.
And let us deal with it. We'd like you to put the confidence. She's like, she literally says to her, "Do you realise why everybody asks you questions?" And they go, "Because we know that if we did it, you would not be happy with it. So we have to, because you don't let us do anything." And so she's like, "Oh shit!" And she's like, the colleague says, "Will you please just go away for a week and let us fix it?
Yeah.
And let us show you what we can do." And she's like, "Yeah, all right then."
Okay. All of them as well are like, go get that boy back.
Yeah.
Go get that boy back, because you are miserable. You're a pain in our ass.
And
you were happier. He was like, you were happier when you were with him. Now we cannot stand you.
Yeah.
Go get that boy back.
So she's
go
like,
on holiday. Go get that dick.
She's like, "Dash,
Hello.
hello." He doesn't answer, because guess what? His phone's down chair with no battery.
And he's in the zone because he's making this game.
So what does she do? She goes to the takeout place that he likes. Can't remember what it is. Ramen?
Well, first, she tries to contact him. Can't get anything from him. She calls his workplace, and she's like, "Yeah, nah, he don't work here anymore." And then she's now like, "Fuck, who do I talk to?" So she goes on, like, I think it's called LinkedUp.
Yeah, LinkedIn.
And finds his old roommate, and's like, "Hey, so bit weird. Do you know where Dash is?"
Request.
And he's like, "You're the woman that broke his heart. I'm not going to talk to you."
Okay.
And then he tells her that he's gone to go live back with his mum. And she's now like, "Fuck, where's that?"
Need the address.
So she finds his old school, and finds the professor, emails him, being like, "So hey, really random, but can I have Dash's mum's address?" And he's like, "Oh, so you're the Penny that's broken him, that has like completely destroyed this boy." And she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, but I really need to talk to him because I really miss him and I really love him." And he literally just,
I'll put my FBI hat on.
he literally just emails her back with just an address, and that is it. And she doesn't think she puts the cat in the carrier bag, like,
in you go.
He's in his travel case. She gets her keys, gets her mask, gets in the car, and just drives.
And she stops at the place that he stopped
at.
Brisket, that's it. She stops at his favourite place that he stops at on the drive, and she basically just drives straight there. And she's like, "I need my Dash back."
Yeah.
And she gets there, and they have a whole heart-to-heart. They're back friends again. And then she sees the game.
Oh.
And she's like, "Whoa!" So, because he'd already helped her with like this website portion of her, because basically there was some reviews of the sex toy saying it's a bit complicated to use because it's not that user friendly. So she was like, "We'll create a section on the website that tells people, like, so before they get it when it ships, they'll get like a link and they can learn about it and stuff. And he's like, I'll make you a member login thing so that you can have like videos and stuff like that on there. And she looks at this game and goes, what about if we incorporated this game into the website for the toy so that there was the communication between partners as well as the toy?
Yeah, because it was in one of her meetings that they had where they were talking about the feedback, and this woman just goes, I love it because I've had the chance to
Have a
figure it out.
Uh-huh.
But it's a bit hard to use it with my husband because it's a little bit annoying when you're sat trying to be like, yeah, no, up, no, in, out, that hurts, no, right,
Yeah,
no,
out,
stop it, we're done, type of thing.
It kind of ruins
you're probing a lip and that's not where I want it, sorry.
Yeah, and Penny literally sits there in this meeting, she goes, well, communication is key, and her friends are on the call being like,
I feel like
excuse me, Miss Ma'am, did you really just give that advice that you do not take yourself?
Glass fucking houses.
And
it's just,
I think this is,
it's just nice.
It's just lovely. Like,
so nice.
Considering it was like a 400-page book.
Yeah.
It went so quick.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a lull either.
No. Like, I was expecting the third act breakup.
Oh, yeah.
But I wasn't expecting it.
I think we always expect that in a romance book now. Like, if it doesn't have one, it's like, oh.
Where is it?
Okay, weird. But I wasn't expecting it.
Love each other so much.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it in the way that it happened.
No.
And it was just a bit heartbreaking because like I knew relationships that got together at like the beginning of COVID and they made it pretty much all the way through lockdown, and then at the end of lockdown they just broke down.
Yeah.
Which is like really upsetting, but then like I also know of relationships that got together at the start of lockdown and they're like still going strong now type of thing. But it's the part at the end of the book, I think it's in the epilogue, where it's like 1 year later. They go back to TCon. And our little cutie Dash is on the stall. And he's like really ripping into this guy. Because this guy comes in, completely ignores all of the women that are on the stand and goes straight to Dash. Dash is a ball of nerves, anxiety, and just jitters.
Wet in his back hair.
And he, where is it gone? I thought I'd highlighted it.
It's like a isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find it. Get rid of this.
Hold on. I think I might have got it. So this guy comes in and he's talking to Dash. And he's like, so what is it? And Dash is like, it's this amazing thing. It's top notch, mate. Top notch. And this like reporter is like, he literally says, he's like, so I'll read from this point. So this famous sex toy, is it as good as they say? The man asks, with no introduction or manners. He deserves absolutely everything I'm about to unleash. Hearing Penny and Nick recount their most terrible encounters from the last con made me determined to give as good as I get. I lean in and conspiratorially whisper, it's better. I don't get why it's so revolutionary. An orgasm's an orgasm. I mean, it's not natural. Women shouldn't be getting off without a man. This is a cheap substitute, and why are you promoting that? Penny snorts behind me. But I keep a straight face. These are the kind of rude questions they face all day at these events. I'm ready to do my part. First of all, I wouldn't call this cheap. It's an advanced piece of robotics, engineering, and worth every penny. It has twice the moving parts as an average vibrator. Secondly, do some single women rely on these services? Sure, but married couples enjoy it too. The Mayo gives women a tool to better understand their bodies and their pleasure responses. And if an orgasm is an orgasm to you, you are part of the problem. When was the last time you thought that a new way to make your partner feel good? Are you experimenting? Is sex fun? The reporter in front of me, the poor reporter in front of me grows redder and redder with embarrassment, and I turn the obnoxious questions back on him, and he splutters, trying to formulate a rebuttal. I save him the trouble. Here's our latest invention. We developed a 2-player game that allows couples to input a long list of personal characteristics and create a pleasure profile. Playing the game together creates a fun shared experiences for learning about each other, and it makes playtime afterwards better for both of you. We're hoping to expand to 3 and 4-player versions in the next 6 months. Can I give you a brochure? I took the folded pamphlet into the reporter's hand. Feel free to call me back if you have any questions. Bye now. And the man walks away, still reeling. A bevy of laughter floats behind me. You should see his face, Nick.
There's a line after that that's going, did you see his face? Nick cackles. An orgasm is an orgasm. That's what we're fighting, people. Take note.
Take notes.
Dildos are
And it
friends,
was just
not enemies. All the dildos around.
It was like a full circle moment, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh,
I was going to say what a vibe, but what a vibe.
What a vibe.
What a fucking vibe.
And the fact that sort of in the acknowledgements, she says, like, you know, thank you for everything, thank you for reading. But it's also based off an actual sex toy. It says this book is a product of many incredible minds leaning their strength and knowledge. Laura DiCarlo, designer of the Revolution OSE, gave me incredible access to her team so I could understand the nuances of running a startup through a pandemic. So, like, it's actually based upon a startup throughout the pandemic.
We're just trying to find it.
If you're interested in learning more about
Just like
inspiration for the Mayo, here you go. Laura DiCarlo. It's a clickable link. I'm a clicking. Oh, page not found. Fuming. You don't know if you can see that, but page not found. I got a 404.
Oh no, she's got the 404. Shit.
404. But honestly, it was great. And I mean, most people that listen to this episode will probably be like, well, now I don't need to go and read it. But really, you should, because I don't feel like knowing the story takes away from how good it is to read.
No, because even like me, having not read it, I feel like there's still so much more to it.
Yeah, like honestly, it's brilliant. And
so I found it.
Me and Ellie,
I'll link it later.
Me and Ellie found this through Stuff Your Kindle Day.
Yes. I think I downloaded it on the first Stuff Your Kindle Day back in like
whenever
2022?
Yeah.
2023?
Yeah, because it was when we just had the book club.
Yeah.
And we did the Stuffy Kindle, and then when we were looking at books to do for the podcast, we were like, "Oh, we need a fluffy book, so we'll pop it in." And then we both had it, and I wasn't really expecting much because it was just a Stuffy Kindle book.
Mm-hmm. But it's really good.
Really good.
I like thoroughly enjoyed it, and I just want to give hi Sam. I just want to give Dash a hug. I want to give him a cuddle because he deserves the world. Like.
It's just
cuddles all around.
Oh well, it was brilliant, and I think, yeah, I think if you don't want to read Caught a Vibe, I'm not sure if Eva Moore does any more books, but if she does, I think after this,
I think she does.
I'm wondering if there's any more in this series.
There is. So in the back of Caught a Vibe, there is another book. Called give me a second. Think it's called it's because it starts off, have you read the Exposed Dream series yet? Start here with Opened Up. So she does have other books.
So yeah, I would recommend checking them out because her writing style is great, and if they're anything like this one, then
I think she's most active over on TikTok. Because I have been following her since I downloaded the book.
Finished it.
But yeah, she seems to be most active over on her TikTok. But I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I was pleasantly surprised, and it's something different, and obviously, like,
it was something fluffy, and I wasn't expecting to enjoy something so fluffy after what I last read.
So I wasn't expecting all the nice things.
So that wraps up chapter 17 of Bookish Babes After Talk.
Is it 17 or is it 16?
17.
She said 17. I know, guys, what was it?
However, if you would like to keep in contact with us, we are active on all of our socials. That is including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube. We love to have a natter. We love to have a giggle. The best thing you could do for us, leave us a review. Share us to your friends because, you know, we are great.
Sharing. It's caring.
Sharing is caring.
It is. And on that note, we'll see you next week. Peace out.
Yeah.